One of, if not the most important part of cooking is having a nice sharp knife. It just makes all the difference. And it is so much safer than using a blunt knife. And then closely followed is mise en place. As you can see, I've got all my ingredients ready for today's filming. Today we'll be making one of my favorite comfort meals. It is crispy tofu in a rich and creamy satay sauce with some lovely fragrant jasmine rice. Also, if the camera is shaking a bit, it's because I've just been to the gym and my arms are absolutely cooked. So I'm gonna put this onto a tripod now. Okay, so we're making a delicious satay sauce. It's got citrusy lemongrass, tangy and sweet tamarind, and lots of other delicious ingredients. And it is fairly simple to make, so let's get started. We're going to get the tofu prepared first. Okay, so I've got some extra firm tofu here, which I'm just going to cut into fairly large cubes. I've actually got some smoked tofu here as well, which I need to use up, so that's going to go in. Okay, now that's ready to be seasoned. Quick tip, if you simmer your tofu in really salty water, it's going to be firmer, it's going to be seasoned from within, and it's going to be better at absorbing flavors. Okay, I'll get on that straight away. Great, enjoy. I've got about a litre of boiling water here, and I'm going to add in a tablespoon of salt. This is my favorite way of preparing tofu. I prefer it over pressing, over freezing. It just works so well. And then once that comes to a boil, we'll let the tofu simmer for around 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how much time you have. I wouldn't go too much longer than 10 minutes, as it may become a little too salty. And then once your tofu has finished simmering, you can just drain it and leave it to steam dry for 5 to 10 minutes. And to the tofu, I'm going to add some olive oil, about a tablespoon. Give that a quick mix just to get it nice and coated. And then we're going to do a dry seasoning rub. Most satay recipes, you'll do a wet marinade, but for tofu, I find a dry rub is better, and then coat it in the satay sauce. So to start off, I've got some lovely earthy and sweet cumin. When you're cooking, make sure you're not just following the recipe blindly. Taste, smell, listen to the food. For example, I've got some ground coriander here, which just smells beautifully citrusy. So yeah, get involved and it'll make the cooking process so much more enjoyable. Next up, some granulated garlic. I much prefer it over powdered garlic. It just doesn't burn quite as easily. Some turmeric, not just for the color, but also for its sort of fruity and slightly bitter flavor. I'm also going to add a pinch of white pepper. It's got a really sort of sharp and almost clean, spicy hit compared to black pepper, which is a bit more sort of bold, aromatic, and more fruity. And just a small pinch of salt, since we have already simmered this tofu in salty water, of course. Give your tofu a mix to get it nicely coated in those seasonings, and then that will be ready to fry. Smells lovely. Quick tip, this is easier in a Tupperware, but you can just get a plate and just give it a good shake to get the tofu nice and coated. Like I said, easier with some Tupperware, of course. And there you go, that looks amazing already, and we haven't even cooked it yet. Quick break in cooking, Poppy needs a play. Get some of that energy out. She loves a bit of tug of war. Next up, we're going to cook some jasmine rice, and this isn't going to be just any old jasmine rice. We're going to jazz it up with some delicious flavorings. Into a hot pan, we're going to add some oil, just a neutral oil or olive oil. Then we'll go in with some chopped onion, and we'll cook this onion for 5 to 8 minutes until it's just starting to color and it's getting nice and soft. We've got some color on this onion, so we're going to go in with some minced garlic now. I'm also going to add in a couple dried lime leaves. These are becoming more common in supermarkets, which is great. They've got really intense lime citrusy flavor. Continue cooking this for another 60 seconds or until the garlic and the lime leaves smell beautifully fragrant. Next to go in is our jasmine rice. Personally, I don't worry about washing jasmine rice. If you've bought it from a supermarket, you don't need to worry about dust or stones or anything like that. And sure, you may get slightly fluffier rice if you do wash it, but personally, I don't find there's much of a difference. To make this rice even more fragrant, I'm going to add in some lime zest. This is an absolutely massive lime, so I'm just going to add half of it. Also going in with a small pinch of salt, and then go in with your water or vegetable stock. Give that a stir. You can crank the heat up now and bring that to a boil. Almost forgot, I'm also going to add in some frozen edamame beans, just for a little protein and fiber boost, and it'll make the rice nice and colourful. The rice is bubbling away nicely, so I'm going to pop a lid on, turn the heat down to low, and just let that cook for 10 to 12 minutes or until all the water is absorbed. But don't peek in for at least 10 minutes. Okay, so the rice has had 10 minutes. I'm going to turn the heat off now, and I'm going to leave it to steam and finish cooking now. One quick thing I would do is put a tea towel over the rice instead of the lid. This is going to absorb any excess moisture, whereas with the lid, the water is going to drop back into the rice and potentially make it soggy. I did not think of that. Thank you. You're very welcome. Okay, just remove the lid then, and just put over a clean tea towel, and we'll leave that to steam and finish cooking for around 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, this rice is looking perfect. We are going to remove the lime leaves, as they're not particularly nice to eat. And then with a fork, we're just going to run it through the rice and sort of break apart this rice. Smells just incredibly fragrant. I'm very excited to give it a try. And if you like fresh coriander or cilantro, then go ahead and add in some finely chopped coriander, just a nice big handful. Mix that through, and there you have a beautifully fragrant jasmine rice, which is going to work perfectly with this satay tofu. To start the satay sauce, into a pan I'm adding half a can of coconut milk, full fat coconut milk ideally. Once your coconut milk is simmering, we're going to add in some red Thai curry paste. This is quite a spicy one, so I'm just adding a tablespoon, but feel free to add more if you want to. And we're going to continue simmering this quite vigorously for around 3 to 4 minutes. Once your coconut milk and curry paste mix becomes really nice and thick and has reduced by at least half, we can add in the rest of the ingredients. Starting with the rest of the coconut milk. I could only get light coconut milk, but ideally you want to get full fat. Now ideally you'd use whole peanuts, roast and grind them, but I couldn't get any, so the next best option is going to be some natural crunchy peanut butter, one without any palm oil or extra sugars in there. Then the peanut butter. I'm going to add some lemongrass paste, light soy sauce for that umami flavor. So this is tamarind paste. You can get it in most supermarkets, and it's made from a paste of tamarind pods, which is a tropical fruit. It's naturally sort of sour, sweet and sticky, and it's going to make this satay sauce really delicious. And some tamarind paste, lovely and tangy. Light brown sugar for some sweetness. And for even more acidity, the juice of half a lime. Get that all nice and stirred together, and we'll simmer it for around 5 to 7 minutes until it's lovely and thickened. Okay, this has actually only taken just a few minutes to thicken up nicely, and I've given it a taste, and it's just a little bit too acidic at the moment for my liking. That was quite a big lime, so I'm going to add some more brown sugar to counter that, and then I think it should be perfect. But just look at that, it's creamy, it's rich, it's fragrant. It's got those nice crunchy bits of peanut butter in there. It's going to be delicious. Okay, so I've just opened the door to let Mitzi in. But look who else we've got. A little froggy. Okay, so what I like to do is I just take 1 spoonful of the sauce and put it into a separate bowl. I'm then going to add in some coconut milk. And this is going to be what we use to sort of glaze the tofu. So just give that a good whisk together, and we'll use that on the tofu. To cook the tofu, get a nice hot pan and go in with a tablespoon or 2 of a neutral oil of your choice. Just get that swirled around the pan. And then once your oil is hot, you can go in with the tofu. Now I just realized I didn't add any corn flour to this tofu. So if you want to add corn flour, then by all means do. But either way, we're going to get it nice and golden all over now. Should take around 8 minutes. Make sure you hear a nice sizzle when you add the tofu. And if it doesn't sizzle, take it out and wait for a couple more minutes for the oil to heat up. The spices are roasting beautifully now. It smells incredible. Okay, the tofu is golden and the spices are nicely roasted. So we're going to go in with our satay coconut mix. We'll cook this just for a minute or two until the sauce is really thick and coats the tofu. Okay, I think that is perfect. Time to serve up. Okay, it is ridiculously hot in here and very humid. The English heat wave is just about coming to an end. Let's give this a taste. Wow. Damn, that is good. That rice is just so fragrant and delicate. The tofu is wonderfully chewy and then it's got a really nice charred outside, and even without the satay sauce, it tastes absolutely delicious. And then of course the main event, the satay sauce, it's creamy, it's salty, it's tangy, it's just got so many different flavors going through it. It is really good. And then finally the rice. I am a big rice fan and I love jazzing it up with lots of nice flavors. It's zingy, it's herby, it's fresh, and it works perfectly with the more creamy and rich satay sauce. Definitely give this recipe a go. I promise you, you won't regret it. And if you haven't already signed up to my Patreon page, there'll be a link in the description box. You can get bonus recipe videos every week, recipe PDFs, and join a really wonderful cooking community. But in the meantime, if you want another video to watch, check out this one.